Good morning. Welcome back to 4 More Minutes. I am Sam Bailey, the soul stirring up your hearts and your minds for God. I hope and pray that all is well and that your week is going well and that you're moving along through the week. If you did not get a chance to, please check out my message from yesterday about the enemy, the ego, as ego is always trying to get us to prove ourselves and to establish a false identity instead of the identity of humility, which God requires of any heart that wants to seek Him. If you have not yet done so, please subscribe to the Soul Stir on YouTube, as this is the easiest, most effective way to share these messages and to be a part of putting inspiration, encouragement, and motivation out into the world. Today, I want to talk about making sure that you know where the exits are. And a lot of times we enter into things without having a contingency plan. We can get on the freeway, but you got to know how to get off on the off ramp. Sometimes we get into relationships without thinking about potentially having to exit. We enter into jobs and careers in fields without actually thinking about what actually happens if I'm not here like I planned. We find ourselves getting into a lot of things without considering how we get out of it. You know, in a building like this, it's important to know where the exits are in case of an emergency, in case of a fire, in case of a disaster, or some sort of crisis, that you know how to get out. In most buildings, they notify you, right? This is how you get out. But unfortunately, life is not always like that. You don't always see the exit sign, or sometimes you don't always think that there is a way out. But with God, there is always a way out. The Word tells us that there's no temptation that's uncommon to man. You know, we all go through temptations. He said with every temptation there is a way to escape. There's a window, but you've got to know where it is, and you got to know how to get out of it. And so I pray today that you would look for the exit sign. Now, some of you got to be honest. You don't know how to handle difficult things and challenges, so you want to take the shortcuts, the easy exits. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about getting out of something just because it's difficult or because it's hard or because it's challenging you. I'm talking about you have a real crisis, you have a real emergency, you have something that's destroying you or something that's threatening your well-being or your life or your peace. You've got to know how to remove yourself from that. You got to know how to. Some of us miss our exit. You're driving along on the freeway of life, and you miss your exit. And you got to wait to the next stop to get off and turn around, and you cost yourself time, you cost yourself gas. Maybe you've been late because you've missed your exit off ramp. You got to know, and to know when to get off, you got to either know ahead of time, or you got to be anticipating that it's time for you to exit. Some of us realize we've missed our turn once we've already passed it. And what I'm telling you, sometimes you got to know when you have stayed in a place too long. And then you got to know also when it's time to exit a particular thing. And I think it happens particularly in the area of relationships and careers, that people are still searching. Some of us gave up on careers too quick. Some of us gave up on relationships too quick. But then some of us have held on to both of those too long. You never know. That's why you got to know where you're going. See, if you don't know where you're going, you don't know when to get off. But God has given us direction where we ought to go in our lives. We got to follow His plan for our lives, and we got to trust that He knows where He's leading us. And once we allow Him to lead us, then we know we'll be guided by His Holy Spirit, which is our spiritual GPS, right? God positioning system, which will let us know when it's time to get off. Sometimes you can ignore that GPS, right? There are times where I think I know where I'm going, and I can actually give a shorter cut, but 9 times out of 10, that GPS can let me know if there's an accident ahead. It can tell me a faster route. It can tell me to take the detour, but just know when to get off. You've got to know when to let go. You got to know when you can't fix situations. When your time at any particular place or with any particular person has run its course. And when you do, you can effectively arrive at your destination, whatever that is, safe and sound. So God bless you. Have a wonderful day today. Share this message with someone else. Be blessed, and we'll see you tomorrow right here on 4 More Minutes. Thank you.